What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and today we have some pretty good news about the big bads of Marvel's next phase. The big bads in the current MCU are something that a lot of fans have really been wondering about since we don't really have one yet. We have had individual bad guys in the MCU projects that we've gotten so far, but none that are actual big bads. Big bads that not just one hero, but multiple heroes have to join together to actually defeat. So far, each movie in Marvel's Phase 4 has had their own personal villain, and the same goes with the Disney Plus shows, their own personal villain. But it is about to go down big time in the MCU, and Phase 5 and Phase 6 are going to be incredibly exciting because the big bads are coming and they are about to be introduced very, very soon. And hopefully that means that we get introduced to our new Avengers team or another team in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be a new Avengers team. It could be the Fantastic Four, it could be an X-Men team, it could be an Illuminati team for all that we know. But here's what you need to know about Marvel's next big bad, which is Kang. Now, I'm assuming most people know that Kang the Conqueror is about to be a pretty big villain, but I don't think people know just how big he's going to be. Now, first off, Kang is going to be debuting officially and fully in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Now, something else that you might not know, however, is that he's not going to be the only villain for Ant-Man 3. We've talked about this before on the channel, but it is widely believed that MODOK is actually going to be a big villain as well in Quantumania. And I know a lot of fans are really excited about this, and I actually think that MODOK himself is going to be a big bad as well, not just a villain for one movie. Now, of course, Kang is not a villain for one movie. Make no mistake about that. There are going to be multiple different versions of Kang. This was set up very clearly in Loki. And of course, Loki Season 2, which is filming right now, is also going to be addressing Kang. However, we don't know which version. But let's start off with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania version of Kang. According to the good old rumor mill, MODOK is going to be kind of in charge of Kang. He's going to be the person that employs Kang. So this variant of Kang the Conqueror that we are going to be seeing in Ant-Man 3 might be a little bit more tame. But here's something that you need to know about Kang the Conqueror. A lot of people are worried and are saying that there's not going to be a better villain in the MCU from here on out than Thanos. Thanos was peak villainry, and there's no way to top him. However, I disagree. I think Kang is actually going to top Thanos because you have to think about who exactly Kang is, and you have to remember the events that happened in Loki. One, let's not forget that now there are going to be many different versions of Kang, evil versions of Kang. He Who Remains, who is Kang the Conqueror, even said at the very last episode of Loki, "If you think I'm evil, well, wait till you meet my variants." The Kang variants themselves caused the multiversal war, just variants of Kang the Conqueror, variants of Nathaniel Richards, which was his original name. Kang variants alone, not a bunch of different teams, not a bunch of incursions by Doctor Strange or any other member of the Illuminati or the Avengers, no, just Kang the Conqueror fighting himself. And then one of them, He Who Remains, came out on top and defeated everybody else. Then he created the TVA to control everything. So then in Loki, when Loki went to court, he said that he wasn't to blame, but it was actually the Avengers that were to blame. However, the TVA said that that was supposed to happen. The Avengers were supposed to do all of that. The Avengers were supposed to go back in time. They were supposed to collect all of the Infinity Stones from the past, go back to their present time, and defeat Thanos. The TVA made that clear. That means that the TVA allowed the Avengers to defeat Thanos. That means that the TVA allowed Thanos to do everything that he did. And who is in charge of the TVA? Kang. Now, originally, it was He Who Remains that was in charge of the TVA, but now, at the end of Loki, since the TVA has kind of changed, it is actually under a real Kang the Conqueror. Not He Who Remains, not a tame variant of Kang, but an evil variant of Kang. We know this because where there used to be 3 statues of timekeepers in the TVA, it is now only 1 statue of Kang the Conqueror. So yes, Thanos was an amazing villain, and the Infinity Saga was fantastic. Infinity War and Endgame are 2 of the greatest movies of all time, not just Marvel movies, but of all movies. And I'm not trying to take anything away from that, but Kang the Conqueror let all of that happen. And now we are dealing with a villain who can kind of control time and can multiverse hop. So this is going to be on a way bigger scale. But taking it back to Ant-Man 3, we're still probably going to be getting a rather tame version of Kang. I do not believe that this is going to be the Kang the Conqueror. In fact, I don't think there's ever going to really be the Kang the Conqueror, one Kang, until the very end, because keep in mind, the multiversal war between all of the Kangs is going to be actively happening. So not only are we going to be seeing our heroes go up against Kang, but we're going to see different variants of Kang go up against each other. I'm guessing that some are actually going to be good, some are going to be kind of in the middle, but some are going to be absolutely ruthless. A great example of that is of Kang ruling the TVA at the end of Loki Season 1, and then the fact that Kang in Ant-Man 3 is going to be working for MODOK means that he's not yet reached his full potential there. But like we've been talking about, eventually this will go on to lead to Secret Wars, and the main villain of this is going to be Kang. Now, he might be sharing that role with Dr. Doom, but make no mistake, Kang is going to be the big bad of the multiversal saga. Incursions and multiversal war is going to be taking place during Phase 4, which we have already actually experienced, and then Phase 5 and Phase 6, and however long they want to go until they eventually bring it to Secret Wars. Now, we know Dr. Doom is coming, and he's coming very soon, and what I actually like about this is that we'll probably see Kang, or a few versions of him, work with Dr. Doom, but we know Dr. Doom, and he's definitely going to want to take Kang's technology and eventually use it for himself. But I think Kang is going to be getting a little too powerful at some point in time, which means Dr. Doom will have to kind of work with the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and any other team that may be fighting. But of course, Dr. Doom really only does this until he can kind of get what he wants. It's just a way for him to get what he wants. And Doom has been known to fight alongside of some of our Avengers. In fact, one of my favorite storylines is where him and Doctor Strange go to the Hell Dimension and take on Mephisto. But the biggest thing to be aware of here is that Kang the Conqueror is going to be an incredibly huge threat, and is going to be a villain unlike anything that we've ever seen before, even Thanos. Thanos had the Infinity Gauntlet, which was fantastic, but Kang literally has the ability to control time. Also, not to mention, Kang has the ability to know everything that's going to happen. We saw this in Loki. He had the full script of everything Loki and Sylvie were about to do. Now, eventually we came to a point to where everything got new and he didn't know what was going to happen. However, he is not in charge anymore. A new variant of Kang is. And I'm actually really excited to see a ruthless Kang control time and fight our Avengers. Also, side note, since MODOK is going to be in Ant-Man 3, I'm assuming AIM is in the MCU now, we just don't know about it. And if that is true, I'm definitely guessing that AIM could be behind the DODC, the Department of Damage Control. Doesn't really make too much sense. Why are they interested in superheroes? Why are they so hostile towards these people with powers? And ever since Ms. Marvel started, the DODC was giving me major AIM vibes. I honestly thought that they were going to be the true villains of Ms. Marvel, and I'm still kind of holding on to that. However, I think the final villain will indeed be Kamran. But I'm still going to be waiting for a reveal that says that the DODC is actually run by MODOK, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But in the meantime, let me know what you think about Kang the Conqueror, and not just one big bad, but multiple big bads that are actually different variants of Kang. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news. For live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.